Servus Freunde, my name's Jimmy Cage. I wish you all a happy new year, and once again it's time to talk about the best movies of last year, or rather my favorites. As always, here's your traditional disclaimer that it's of course not possible to have seen everything, but I always try to catch at least the ones everyone is raving about. 3 potential candidates that I wasn't able to watch yet are Poor Things, All of Us Strangers and Godzilla -1. But all in all, I have seen enough to come up with a good list, I think. It's a little bit funny because I have actually watched the exact same amount of movies as I did last year, which is a little bit over 100 new releases. When it comes to Indian movies though, I have seen less. Last year it was 30 new Indian releases, this time it's only 19. And unfortunately, in the end, none made my list. But let's just get into it.
C'est bien comme les filles qui font de la porn.
Number 10. The Nature of Love. The Nature of Love, or to try to pronounce its original title, Sans plus comme Silva, is a French-language, Canadian romantic comedy drama written and directed by Munir Chokri. It's a little bit like the more light-hearted, eccentric or crazy version of The Worst Person in the World. A wonderfully playful and funny and also quite sexy movie about a woman whose life is turned upside down when she meets someone new. It's about the rules of attraction, why we fall in love, how we love and how love changes. It has a lot of style and energy, fun performances, good dialogue, and it's just a wonderful case for our crazy human existence. I really liked it a lot. My first, of a total of 5 honorable mentions, goes to another film that's all about the complex and tense relationships between human beings. The German film Roter Himmel, aka A Fire, written and directed by Christian Petzold.
你是谁？你要带我去哪儿？
Number 9. Deep Sea. From fire to water with my next pick, the Chinese animated movie Deep Sea, aka Shanghai. Filmmaker Xiao Pengtian throws us into a wildly imaginative and wildly overwhelming fantasy world that was almost too much for me. The colors, the characters, the erratic movements and the constant whirlwind of so many little details wherever you look. It's really a lot. But while Deep Sea clearly draws inspiration from works like Alice in Wonderland or Spirited Away, its style is so unique and out there that I was truly transfixed by it. And thankfully, it's not just style over substance, but it actually got really emotional and quite heavy towards the end. But I felt it was totally deserved at that point. My next honorable mention is also about a little girl who has to cope with a very difficult and personal situation. The Mexican drama Totem, written and directed by Lila Aviles, is a heartfelt, tender, beautiful and life-affirming drama that's just a little bit over 90 minutes long and yet tells a lot about the human condition. Number 8. The Animal Kingdom. From a fairly realistic coming-of-age tale to a fairly fantastical one, the French adventure drama The Animal Kingdom, or Le Reine Animal, hit all the right notes for me. I have seen a lot of fascinating films at last year's Cannes Film Festival, but this one was such a cool and heartfelt genre mix that it became my personal festival highlight. It is set in our world, only that a few years ago random people have begun to start mutating into different animal species. On the surface, it sounds very much like material for a young adult novel, but its treatment is really fresh and endearing, and a blend of drama and also some very natural feeling humor just works. It is grounded, probably also due to budgetary restraints, and yet it's able to lift you up with its images and emotions. And it also injects some nice body horror elements, which I find always interesting in the context of a coming-of-age film about a teenager who needs to find his place in this difficult world. My next honorable mention is another French film about another person who is a little bit different than anyone else. It's the period drama Rosalie, directed by Stephanie Di Giusto, telling the empowering story of a young woman who was born covered with hair and who is able to grow a full beard. It's a story of a woman who had to hide her true self all her life and who is now finally starting to show herself to the world. Number 7. Hundreds of Beavers. Without a doubt, the craziest and probably most unique film that I have seen all year is Mike Cheslick's bonkers, black and white, silent live-action Looney Tunes-like adventure action comedy, Hundreds of Beavers. A stunningly creative, crazy and super funny film that shows us the video game-like progression of a guy who tries to survive in the wild and who in the progress is about to defeat hundreds of beavers. I think it still hasn't been released outside of film festivals, but definitely keep this one in mind if you are looking for movies that try something very different. Another one that is awaiting its official release in 2024 is my next honorable mention, Shane Atkinson's dark crime comedy Leroy. Another film that holds several surprises for you and one that's able to find a nice balance between comedy and drama, presenting us with these rather pathetic, down-on-their-luck characters and yet infusing them with the right amount of humanity.
Last words, Winston? Just have fun out there.
Number 6. John Wick Chapter 4. I liked the first John Wick fine. Didn't care that much for the sequel, maybe I have to rewatch it someday, really liked the third one and think that the fourth one is kind of an instant modern action movie classic. When I first heard that John Wick Chapter 4 would be almost 3 hours long, I thought they were absolutely crazy and that there's really no reason for such an exaggerated runtime. But when I watched Chad Stahelski's latest gun-fu extravaganza, I was pretty much blown away. The world and the lore created in these John Wick movies is so over the top and honestly dumb. The level of cool and silliness so high and the sheer willingness to go full action superhero Zatoichi in this one, for me it all comes together perfectly here. With Keanu Reeves' minimalist performance, the comical mythology, the visual style and the extreme violence and awesome action choreography. I thought the first half of John Wick 3 was almost impossible to beat, but somehow they did it. John Wick Chapter 4 is a film that made me giddy as a child. My last honorable mention really doesn't have any connection. Maybe it's also tense, but for very different reasons. Anyway, the German drama Das Lehrerzimmer, aka The Teacher's Lounge, directed by Ilka Czatak, was one of my biggest surprises of the year. A gripping, thought-provoking drama that's actually more like a thriller, putting us next to or almost in the shoes of a young teacher whose idealistic actions only put her deeper into a complex world from which there's basically no good escape. It's Germany's official Oscar submission and we will soon see if it actually gets a nomination. But now, no more honorable mentions. These are my top 5 best movies of 2023. Number 5. Killers of the Flower Moon. Let's hope Martin Scorsese never stops making movies. His newest one tells a true American story. A story about greed, white supremacy, about pathetic little white men who think the world belongs to them. It's an impressive, moving, superbly acted, harrowing and at the same time very entertaining 3.5 hour long epic, and unfortunately it's still super relevant.
Want you to stay. Want you to stay.
Number 4. Past Lives. Of all the movies I have seen all year, this one was the one that spoke the most to me. Celine Song's feature debut is an instant modern romantic classic. A tender, mature and bittersweet film in which she tells her own life story. Of how she emigrated at a young age from South Korea and how 20 years later she's reuniting with a very special childhood friend. It's a film about the passing of time, about first love, about decisions in life and so much more. It's so refreshing how open and honest it feels and how all protagonists are talking about their thoughts and feelings. Past Lives is a film that could be very heavy, and yet it's not really. It feels so natural and real, so elegant, and the fantastic performances certainly help too.
Every year at Barton Academy, students, faculty, and staff depart the campus for a 2-week winter break. But there are always an unfortunate few who have nowhere to go for the holidays. They're known as
Number 3. The Holdovers. Much of what I just said about Past Lives, I could repeat for The Holdovers as well. Wonderful performances, a genuine and real feeling tone, a lot of deep and important themes, a lot of heartbreak and hardships. A film that could be very heavy, and yet it's not. It's very emotional, but also so comforting. Alexander Payne hits the perfect balance of comedy and drama. His period film is so witty and funny, but also so empathetic and deeply human. And on top of that, it's also a Christmas movie. Number 2. Oppenheimer. The only movie that I have seen 3 times this year. After his kind of misfired Tenet, Christopher Nolan is back with one of the very best films of his career. Oppenheimer is a 3-hour-long biographical drama about the man who invented the atom bomb. A film that doesn't really feature any kind of action, and yet it's so gripping, so tense. And when you think it has reached its climax, the Trinity test, there's actually another hour to it, and it turns into something not completely different, but more unusual and unexpected. When I first watched it, that was kind of challenging, but on second viewing, I realized that it was leading to that all along, and that it is the best part of the film. It adds so many layers to it. It adds a much needed and all-important human dimension to it. It's a film about our flawed human existence and the tremendous responsibility that comes with our actions. It has the best and most gut-wrenching ending of any film this year, and Cillian Murphy is just perfect as this genius and also deeply conflicted man. I have also been listening to the hauntingly beautiful score by Ludwig Göransson ever since, and so far I at least managed to read a third of the incredible book the movie was based on, and I at least plan to finish it sometime soon. But now for my number 1 best movie of 2023. Number 1. SpiderMan Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, I get it. Some people say it's only half a movie. I understand the argument, but I honestly have no problem with it. I actually really like how much it ends on a big, giant cliffhanger. And in the almost 2.5 hours that makes this half of a movie, it packs in so much movie, so much character, so much heart, so much insanity. When the first Into the Spider-Verse came out 5 years ago, it was a giant surprise. No one could have really anticipated how amazing it would be, how creative, how energetic, how incredibly well paced, how heartfelt, how true to everything Spider-Man it would be. A heartfelt coming-of-age story, a super exciting, inspiring superhero movie. One of the best animated movies ever made, maybe the best superhero movie. So, to say the expectations were high for the sequel is probably a big understatement, but somehow they managed to catch lightning in a bottle a second time. It's bigger, it's crazier, it could have become a mess, but it doesn't. The heart and soul are still the wonderful, charming characters. The humor, the animation, and once again everything clicks so well. Now, we just have to wait and hope they manage to catch lightning in a bottle for a third time. So, that's it for today. These are my top 10 best movies of 2023. What do you think about them? Have you seen them all? Maybe I have interested you in checking some of them out. And what are your favorite movies of the year? Please let me know in the comments below. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd and also on Patreon simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, or special, I don't know, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.